Welcome to Wealthrise Stories, where clarity meets knowledge, and knowledge becomes financial power.
Hello there, my friend. Take a moment to close your eyes or simply let your mind relax and drift with the story I'm about to share. Picture this. Our life is like a massive, endless staircase. A staircase that isn't always straight, isn't always sturdy, and sometimes disappears into a thick fog that makes it hard to see even a few steps ahead. Have you ever wondered, maybe just for a split second, if life really is a staircase like that, then right now, in this exact moment, which step am I standing on? Maybe you feel like you're standing still stuck in place, like a statue that's been forgotten in someone's backyard, gathering moss and dust as time presses on. You watch everyone else rushing up and down, moving, doing, achieving, changing. But you feel as if something invisible is holding you back. Or maybe you're simply too drained to take one more step. That sense of helplessness, that numbness, that quiet hopelessness it makes every day, blur into the next identical and empty. You crave a change, but you don't know where to start, or whether you even have the strength to start at all. Every morning you wake up only to find yourself frozen on the same old step, staring ahead at a path that seems to have no exit, no doorway, no guiding light. Or maybe you're not stuck, you're slipping, step by step sliding downward. Every step below feels like a setback, a job that didn't work out, a relationship falling apart, declining health, or that hollow feeling of losing yourself, losing your purpose. With every step down, your heart feels heavier, and the fear of the dark pit below grows louder, swallowing your hope bit by bit. It's as if an unseen hand is pushing you down, and no matter how hard you cling, you just can't stop the fall. The echoes of failure whisper in your ear, convincing you that you're not enough, not worthy, and eventually you surrender, letting yourself drift toward the lower steps, farther away from the light and the peace you long for. Or maybe you're the one desperately searching for a way up, a path to rise to a higher floor of your life. You feel a burning desire to grow, to change, to become someone stronger, clearer, more alive. You keep searching, keep learning, keep experimenting. You might still be wandering, looking up, only to see a mountain covered in fog, unsure where the next step even leads. But that spark inside you hasn't died. You're willing to take on challenges if they bring you closer to a better version of yourself. You can feel a potential deep within you, untouched, unclaimed, a calling from the depths of your soul, urging you to keep going. Your eyes are full of curiosity and determination, mixed with the occasional confusion and doubt. You know you want to climb higher, even if the map is still blurry, and sometimes you find yourself wondering, am I even going the right way? If any of those questions, or even the faintest trace of those feelings resonates with you, then congratulations. You and I share something big. Because I've been there too. I've stood still long enough to feel like a lifeless boulder. I've slipped downward with fear gripping my throat. And I've also spent countless moments chasing a path upward through uncertainty. And that is exactly why I want to share with you an idea, a mental map, or more accurately, a powerful metaphor that I call the 7 stairs. The name sounds simple, almost plain, but it carries a deep philosophy about the human journey of transformation. It's not a book I stumbled across online. It's not some magic formula from a millionaire guru. No, the 7 stairs is a framework I pieced together through years of studying ancient wisdom, modern psychology, and most importantly, the lived experiences of myself and the people around me. And here's what I want you to understand from the very beginning. The 7 stairs isn't a success formula made for rich or famous people. It's not a checklist to help you buy a house, make more money, or climb some social ladder. Not at all. If you came here searching for those quick hacks, you might end up disappointed. Instead, the 7 stairs is a lens that helps you see yourself with clarity, a mirror that reflects where you truly are on your inner journey, a compass for exploring and growing your inner world. Each stair represents a stage of awareness, a level of emotional and spiritual maturity you can recognize, contemplate, and use to reshape your path. It's a journey inward, not outward. Not to find answers from the world, but to awaken the answers quietly waiting inside you. When I first assembled these pieces into the idea of the 7 stairs, I was stunned. Suddenly, I understood why I was stuck, why I had felt hopeless, and more importantly, I saw with surprising clarity the steps I needed to take to rise out of those states. It felt like being handed a compass and a detailed map while wandering lost in a dense forest. You still have to walk, climb over branches, push through thorns, but at least now you know where you're going and what to expect along the way. Over the years, I've watched friends, family, and even myself get lost in life's maze. They crave clarity, direction, belief, but they often reach for empty slogans, flashy, get-rich, quick courses, or shiny success secrets that fade overnight and leave them emptier than before. What they truly need, and what I believe you are searching for, is a compass. A small lighthouse, not just to illuminate the road, but to help you discover the light inside yourself. A tool that lets you guide your own path instead of blindly following someone else's footsteps. And I promise you this, if you stay with me through what I'm about to share, by the end of this video, you won't just have a compass, you'll have a simple yet powerful map. A map clear enough for you to see where you're standing, what lessons you've lived through, and most importantly, the next steps you can take with intention. You won't need anyone to dictate your path. You'll illuminate your own with a deeper confidence and a quieter, steadier peace within. This journey isn't for people looking for quick fixes. It's for souls seeking truth growth and real transformation. So, are you ready? Ready to climb the first steps of this inner journey to discover your stair and unlock the limitless potential waiting inside you? Let's begin. Hello, my friend. It's me again, your familiar companion on this journey of exploring the stories and ideas that shape the landscape of our inner world. If you've ever felt a little unsteady, a little lost in the chaos of everyday life, or simply found yourself longing for a way to rise into a better version of who you are, then I believe this episode will truly speak to you. Today, I want to introduce you to a work that I believe will reach deep into the hearts of many people, just as it reached into mine. It's The 7 Stairs by Professor Elena Petrova, a remarkable thinker who dedicated her entire life to decoding the mysteries of human development and the true meaning of our existence. Petrova isn't a flashy writer. She's an architect of the soul building bridges between logic and intuition, science and the metaphysical. Her work doesn't promise miracles or overnight transformations. Instead, it offers a profound philosophy, a sturdy framework for us to build our own way upward. The core philosophy of the 7 Stairs is not a magical formula for instant enlightenment. Rather, it invites us to see transformation not as a finish line we must reach, but as an art of conscious ascent, a continuous process of exploring, facing, and rising. Imagine life as a long, never-ending staircase. Every step isn't a hurdle to conquer and leave behind, but a chance to learn, refine yourself, and awaken to who you really are. Transformation isn't about leaping from point A to point B. It's a dance of growth where each step is a choice, a new awareness, a moment when you realize you can go farther, climb higher. It's the persistence to face the shadows within, the courage to let go of what no longer serves you, and the faith in your limitless ability to reinvent yourself. Perhaps, like many of you here, there was a time when I felt lost in a maze of expectations and externally defined ideas of success. I had a stable job relationships that looked fulfilling from the outside. Yet deep down, I felt an unnamed emptiness, a lack of real purpose. I kept searching for a destination, a formula that would make me feel complete, that would make me feel like I had finally made it. I read countless books, enrolled in multiple courses, and yet the feeling of drowning in information without finding a lifeline was all too familiar. I kept circling around, touching many doors, without knowing which one I truly wanted to open. And then, just when I was about to accept that stagnation, I stumbled upon The 7 Stairs. It wasn't a book promising to change my life overnight. It was a map, a lighthouse shining on the very path I was walking, reminding me that feeling lost wasn't the end. It was an invitation to begin a new ascent. Professor Petrova's principles weren't just abstract theories. They were practical tools, firm steps I could stand on while navigating the hardest phases of my life, understanding myself more deeply, and finding meaning in even the smallest steps forward. I learned that feeling lost is actually the starting point. It's the signal that a new level of transformation is waiting. It shifted me from searching for a formula to building the capacity to create my own path. That's why I don't want this video to be just another book introduction or a simple review. Instead, I want to call this a humanized audiobook experience. We won't just listen to the book, we'll live with it. We'll read it together, chapter by chapter, line by line, word by word, exactly as Professor Petrova intended. After each section, I'll pause and share my reflections, my personal takeaways, the stories these ideas bring up for me, the ways I've applied these principles in my own life. I won't just explain the meaning. I'll connect it to real moments, real challenges we all face every day. And more importantly, I'll invite you, yes, you who are listening, to reflect, to question, and most importantly, to discover your own stairs. This is a conversation, not a lecture. I want you to feel like you're sitting right here with me in a warm, quiet space, turning the pages together and exploring side by side. So before we begin, I have a small invitation for you. Find a quiet corner someplace where you can immerse yourself fully in every sentence and every idea without distraction. Maybe by a window with a warm cup of tea or in the peaceful comfort of your workspace. And if you can prepare a notebook and a pen, turn this space into your soul's personal study room where ideas can be captured, questions can be written down, and personal discoveries can unfold. Don't hesitate to jot down anything that resonates with you, any question that emerges, any spark of insight that appears. Because this journey is not just about reading a book. It's about discovering a new way of living, a way of seeing personal growth as an ongoing unfolding across every stair of consciousness. I can't wait to walk this path with you. Take a deep breath and get ready for the first chapter. Together, we're about to begin the ascent up the 7 stairs. Welcome to this journey of self-discovery through the 7 stairs, a book that I personally believe can become a true compass for anyone who is longing for a more fulfilled and meaningful life. I know there are countless tips, strategies, and success formulas out there, but trust me on this. Everything still has to begin from one place, you. And with that, we arrive at Chapter 1, The Stair of Awareness. Opening your eyes to reality. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Awareness, everyone thinks they're aware, but in reality, it's far more complex. This isn't just the first step. It's the most important one. It's the solid foundation for everything we're going to build together from here on out. Think of it like trying to renovate an old house. You can't start by repainting the walls or buying new furniture if you don't actually know the real condition of the house. Are the foundations cracked? Is the roof leaking? Is the wiring safe? Every change has to begin by looking directly at what is. The first core point we need to distinguish is the difference between simply looking and truly seeing in your own life. Sounds strange, right? Looking and seeing feel almost identical. But they're not. Imagine this. Every morning, you open your eyes and you look at your bedroom. It's passive automatic. Light hits your eyes, your brain processes the image, and you register. Okay, this is my room. But seeing is something entirely different, active, intentional, and much deeper. You look at your room, but do you actually see it? Do you see the pile of clothes that's been sitting there for days, maybe weeks, waiting to be folded? Do you see the thin layer of dust on your bookshelf that you've been ignoring week after week? Do you see how that clutter is subtly weighing on your mood every single time you wake up? When you only look, you skim the surface. When you begin to see, you actually receive the information. You allow yourself to connect with reality, with its meaning and its impact. And this isn't just true for your room or the objects around you. It is even more true for your life as a whole. We look at our life passing by every day, commuting to work, eating meals, scrolling our phones, hanging out with people. But are we really seeing it? You look and see yourself busy with your job. But do you see whether that job truly brings you growth and meaning? Or whether it's quietly draining your energy and your time? You look and see that you're in a relationship. But do you see whether there is real connection there, or if it's mostly habit and the fear of being alone? You look and see yourself eating 3 meals a day. But do you see what your body actually needs, how it truly feels? The difference between looking and seeing is the difference between merely existing on autopilot and living a conscious, intentional life. To climb to the next stairs, we have to learn how to see our reality as clearly as possible. To help you practice this ability to see, I have a simple but incredibly powerful exercise I call the Quick Life Snapshot. Find a quiet place where you can be alone with yourself for about 15 to 20 minutes without interruptions. You might want a notebook and a pen, or you can use a notes app on your phone. Take a few deep breaths. Relax your body and your mind. Now imagine you're a photographer capturing a series of portraits of different areas of your life. The goal is to capture the real picture, no filters, no edits. We'll focus on 3 main areas, the core pillars of a human life: career, relationships, and health. For each area, I want you to answer honestly. No judgment, no blame, just data collection, like a scientist observing a situation. 1. Career, work. Do you genuinely enjoy the work you're doing right now? Answer with something like, absolutely love it, like it, it's okay. Don't, like it, can't stand it. Do you feel this work brings you meaning and growth? A lot, some, a little, not much, not at all. On a scale from 1 to 10, how high is your stress level related to work? Can you picture where you'll be in this line of work 5 years from now? Very clearly, somewhat not sure, I just want out. If you could change one thing about your current job, what would it be? 2. Relationships, family, friends, partner, spouse. Are you giving enough time and attention to the people who matter most in your life? Do these relationships make you feel loved, supported, and free to be yourself? Is there any relationship that makes you feel drained, used, or uncomfortable? Do you ever feel lonely inside your relationships? What is one thing you would like to change or improve in your current relationships? 3. Health, physical, and mental. How does your body feel right now? Any fatigue, pain, or tension? Very healthy? Okay. Often feel unwell, completely exhausted. Are you eating reasonably well and getting enough sleep? Do you make time for movement or regular exercise? On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your current level of stress, anxiety, or emotional heaviness? Do you make time to care for your mental and emotional health? Meditation, reading, music, journaling, quiet time alone, etc. If you could improve one thing about your health right now, what would it be? Write down your answers as honestly as you can. No sugarcoating, no exaggerating, and especially no self-shaming. Our goal here is not to attack ourselves, but to get a clear, objective snapshot of where your life is right now. Think of it like a full checkup. A good doctor doesn't judge you for being sick. They listen, observe, run tests, and then put together the right treatment plan. You're doing the same for yourself, being your own caring, thorough doctor. Why is this step so important? Because I want to repeat a line that I believe is absolutely true. You can't change what you refuse to see. Imagine you're in a pitch-black room. You want to rearrange the furniture, clean things up, and make the space more organized. But without light, what can you really do? You'll keep bumping into things, knocking things over, maybe even hurting yourself. Your effort might make things worse instead of better. Awareness is that light. When you see your reality clearly, your strengths, your weaknesses, what's working, what's not, you can finally make good decisions and take intentional action. If you don't see that your relationship is falling apart, how can you repair it? If you don't see that your current job is burning you out, how can you look for a new path? If you don't see that your lifestyle is harming your health, how can you start truly caring for yourself? The truth isn't always comfortable. There will be things you'd rather not look at, corners of your life you'd prefer to hide. That's completely human. We all have fears and resistance when it comes to facing our real selves. But remember, the light of awareness doesn't show up to judge you. It shows up to free you. It gives you information. It hands you power. It tells you where you are, so you can place yourself on the map of your life and chart your next move. Take the quick life snapshot exercise seriously. Give it time. This is the first and most precious gift you can give yourself on this journey. Once you're done, you'll be holding a rough map of your current reality in your hands. And that is the perfect starting point for the next chapters of the 7 Stairs. We've opened our eyes. Now it's time to see clearly and start moving with intention. In the next chapter, we'll explore the 2nd stair together. The stair of responsibility. Claiming your personal power. I promise it will be even more powerful and thought-provoking. Don't forget to hit like if this video was helpful for you. Share it with a friend who might need it, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stairs on this incredible journey. I'll see you in the next video. Welcome back to our journey through the 7 stairs, the golden principles shaping the life we are learning to build together. If the previous chapter helped us lay the foundation by looking deeply into who we truly are and what we truly long for, then today we step onto a stair that might be the hardest, yet also the one that frees us the most: acceptance. Chapter 2. The Stair of Acceptance. Making peace with your past. When we hear the word acceptance, I know many of us instantly associate it with weakness, resignation, or giving up. Guess I'll just accept it. It is what it is, nothing I can do. These phrases often carry a negative tone, as if we're surrendering to fate, as if we're stopping the fight. But you know what? That is an incomplete and sometimes completely wrong understanding of one of the greatest inner strengths a human being possesses. Within the framework of the 7 stairs, acceptance is not resignation. No, not at all. It is the deep wisdom to stop fighting battles that cannot be won. Battles with the past, with flaws that cannot be undone, or with circumstances forever outside our control. Acceptance is the bravest act of looking reality straight in the eye and saying, "This is where I stand. This is what happened. And this is who I am, with everything that comes with me." Think of it like this. Before an athlete begins intense training, they must accept the shape they're in right now. They can't pretend they're stronger than they are. They must accept their weaknesses, accept their limits, and only then can they craft a real plan for improvement. Acceptance is not abandoning the goal of becoming better. It is the only starting point from which true growth begins. It is the powerful declaration, "I will begin from where I am, not from where I wish I were." To make this clearer, Let me tell you a short parable. Once upon a time, there was a traveler searching for truth. His path led him through a vast valley, and right in the middle of the road stood a massive boulder. It was so huge that no one could lift it, move it, or break it. At first, the traveler was furious. He punched the rock, yelled at it, and pushed against it with everything he had. He spent weeks, months, even years trying to move the boulder. His hands became calloused, his body exhausted, his spirit drained. Yet the boulder remained still, unmoved, untouched. People passing by looked at him with pity. Some advised him to give up, but he refused. He believed that if he tried hard enough, long enough, the boulder would eventually budge. To him, giving up meant weakness. Then one day, after countless years of wasted strength and wasted youth, he collapsed next to the boulder. For the first time, he didn't look at it with anger or defiance, but with pure exhaustion. For the first time, he truly saw it, not as an enemy, not as a villain, but simply as a lifeless, immovable object. And in that moment of silence, a thought flickered in his mind. Why am I trying to move what cannot be moved? He lifted his head, looked around, and found right beside the boulder a small footpath. A narrow trail carved out long ago by others who had simply walked around the obstacle. Yes, it was longer. Yes, it was uneven. But it was completely passable. Suddenly, he realized he had wasted his life fighting something he only needed to accept. He smiled, a peaceful, relieved smile, stood up, brushed the dust off his clothes, and began walking down the alternate path. His steps were slow, but for the first time, they were filled with calm and a new powerful energy. So let me ask you, what is that boulder in your life? Is it a mistake from your past? You keep beating yourself up over a physical flaw you've hated for years, an unfortunate event you can't undo. A stubborn family member whose personality you keep trying to fix. Or perhaps a goal you've failed at, no matter how hard you try. How many years have we spent trying to push our boulder? How many sleepless nights? How many drained days? How many quiet breakdowns? All because we couldn't accept something that already happened, something that exists, or something that cannot be any other way. Energy that could have been used to build, to create, to love, to heal, burned away in a battle we were never meant to win. Acceptance doesn't mean you agree with what happened. It doesn't mean you enjoy your flaws. It simply means acknowledging reality. This is it. It happened. It's part of me, part of my story. And when you stop pushing the unmovable, where does your energy go? It frees up space for growth, for new paths, for creative solutions. It stops being wasted on the past and becomes fuel for building the future. So how do we practice acceptance, especially when it comes to the parts of ourselves we don't like? I want to introduce an exercise I call a conversation with your shadow. And no, not your literal shadow. The shadow here is a concept in psychology representing the parts of ourselves we suppress, deny, or refuse to face. This exercise requires courage and raw honesty, but it is one of the most powerful steps toward peace with your past and your inner imperfections. Step 1, prepare. Find a quiet space where you can be alone without interruption. Grab a notebook and a pen. This is an internal dialogue, but writing it down makes it real and tangible. Step 2, list it out. Write down everything you dislike about yourself. No judgment, no filtering. Let it all come out. This could be a physical feature: you don't like your nose, your hair, your weight. A personality trait: you procrastinate, you get angry easily, you're jealous. A past mistake: you lied, you hurt someone, you missed an opportunity. A fear: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being seen. The more specific, the better. Step 3, choose one shadow. Pick the one item that feels the hardest to accept, the one you want to talk to first. Don't try to tackle everything at once. Start with one. Step 4, Begin the dialogue. Imagine this shadow as a separate being, a part of you, but one you've pushed aside or ignored. Write a letter to it or create a two-way conversation on the page. Start by asking it, who are you? Why are you here? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to protect me from? Often our flaws are actually subconscious survival strategies. What do you need from me? Listen. Sometimes the answers come quickly. Sometimes you have to write more, dig deeper. You might realize your procrastination is actually fear of imperfection. Your anger may come from feeling powerless or unheard. Your shame about a past mistake may be trying to remind you of your values. Step 5. Understand and reconcile. The goal isn't to erase the shadow. The goal is to understand it. To recognize that it has its own origin, its own logic. When you understand why it exists, even if it's messy, you naturally begin to feel a gentle acceptance. You don't have to love every part of yourself, but you can accept that those parts exist. Acceptance is the first step toward working with them rather than being controlled by them. I've done this exercise many times, and every time I'm amazed by what I discover. Some parts of myself that I used to hate turned out to be silent protectors or important warnings I had ignored. Accepting them didn't make me weaker, it made me whole. It made me stronger because I no longer had to hide or fight against myself. Acceptance is the first and the strongest stair on the path of personal growth. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the intelligence to stop wasting energy on impossible battles. It is the courage to see things as they truly are, and from there free yourself to focus on what you can change, what you can create. When you make peace with your past, when you accept your flaws and begin to understand your shadow, you will feel a tremendous source of energy being released. Energy no longer tied up in regret or anger or fear. Energy ready to be directed toward building the future you truly desire. Try the shadow dialogue exercise. It may not be easy, but I believe it will open a door to inner peace and strength you didn't know you had. In Chapter 3, after learning how to accept what is, we'll talk about how to direct that newfound energy toward creating your vision for the future. Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next stair. Welcome back to the 7 Stairs I'm Wealth Rise Stories, and I'm genuinely excited that we're stepping onto this 3rd stair together. If in Chapter 2 we learned how to face and accept reality, a brave act of releasing the weight of the past and misplaced expectations, then now with the soil of the soul cleared and ready, it's time to plant the first seeds of our future. Picture it like this. You've just finished cleaning up your garden. The weeds are gone, the soil is turned and soft. It feels open, fresh, and full of potential. But if you never plant anything there, it will either stay empty forever or worse. The weeds will grow back. This stair of intention is the act of planting seeds. And it's not just about what you plant, it's even more about why you're planting it. Years ago, I remember getting caught in a never-ending loop of setting goals. Every new year, I'd write down a long list of things: earn X amount of money, reach Y position by Z thing. I pushed hard toward them, and sometimes I actually hit those goals. But then after the initial rush of excitement, a strange emptiness would creep in again. It felt like climbing a tall mountain only to reach the top and realize you climbed the wrong one, or worse, you're not even sure why you needed to climb it in the first place. That's when I realized a critical difference that I want to share with you today: the difference between goals and intentions. 1. Goals and intentions, the what and the why. To understand this clearly, let's separate these two ideas. Goals are the what. They're the specific destinations, the tangible achievements you want to reach. Goals are usually external, measurable, concrete, and often tied to deadlines. Examples: earn $5,000 a month, lose 10 pounds in 3 months, buy a home before you turn 30, run a marathon. These goals matter. They give us direction, a clear point to aim for. But if you only have goals without intention, it's very easy to get lost or to lose motivation halfway through. Intentions, on the other hand, are the why. They are the deeper motivation and the core values you want to express, the emotional state you want to experience, or the meaning you want to create through your actions. Intentions are inner intangible, and they act like a compass for your goals and decisions. For example, going back to the goals above, the intentions might be: earn $5,000 a month so that you can have financial security, the freedom to choose work you love, or the ability to take better care of your family. Intention: security, freedom, love. Lose 10 pounds in 3 months so that you can feel healthier, more confident, and full of energy. Intention: health, confidence, energy. Buy a home before 30 so that you can feel stable, build a true sense of home, or feel that you've grown into an independent adult. Intention: stability, belonging, maturity. Run a marathon so that you can challenge yourself, build discipline, or inspire others. Intention: challenge, perseverance, impact. See the difference? Goals are the actions. Intentions are the meaning behind those actions. Goals are the seeds you plant. Intentions are the soil you plant them in, the water and sunlight that help them grow. A goal without a clear intention is like a boat without a compass. It can leave the shore, but it doesn't really know where it's going, or worse, it may get stuck in the middle of nowhere. 2. The 5 Whys exercise, discovering your core values. So how do we find that deeper why? How do we identify our true intentions instead of just chasing surface-level goals shaped by society, advertising, or other people's expectation? I want to share with you a powerful exercise called the 5 Whys. It's a method originally developed by Toyota to find the root cause of a problem, but it's also incredibly effective for uncovering your core intentions. Grab a notebook and pen if you can, or you can walk through it in your mind for now. 1. Step 1. Start with a current desire or goal. Example: I want a high-paying job. 2. Step 2. Ask why the first time. Why do I want a high-paying job? Answer: so I can buy my own place. 3. Step 3. Ask why a second time based on that answer. Why do I want to buy my own place? Answer: so I can have privacy, not live with my family anymore, and have a place where friends can come over. 4. Step 4. Ask why a third time. Why do I want privacy and a place to host friends, not so I can feel independent, in control of my own life, and free to express who I am without being judged. 5. Step 5. Ask why a fourth time. Why do I want to feel independent, in control, and free to be myself? Answer: because I deeply crave real freedom to live as my true self and to be respected for who I really am. 6. Step 6. Ask why a fifth time, or until you can't go any deeper. Why do I crave that real freedom, authenticity, and respect? Answer: because that's the only way life feels meaningful to me, when I'm living truthfully aligned with my deepest values. See what just happened. We started with, I want a high-paying job, and ended up discovering the true intention, authentic freedom, meaningful living, and living in alignment with core values. This exercise can feel challenging at first. Sometimes your early answers might sound shallow or cliché, but don't stop. Patiently keep asking, why? Until you touch something emotionally deep, something that resonates in your chest, something you can't just brush off. That's your intention. That's your inner compass. 3. A strong intention. Moving through procrastination and fear. Once you discover your intention, that powerful why, everything begins to shift. Intention doesn't just guide your path like a lighthouse. It also becomes a powerful energy source that helps you face 2 of your biggest obstacles: procrastination and fear. Intention helps you move past procrastination. We procrastinate when we don't see the deeper meaning behind what we're doing, or when a task feels too heavy and overwhelming. When a goal is just a dry line on a to-do list, your mind will easily come up with excuses to avoid it. But when you clearly know why you want to wake up early to work out, to feel healthy, energized, and live longer with your loved ones, dragging yourself out of bed on a cold morning no longer feels like such a battle. When you know why you're preparing that detailed report, so the project gets approved, so you contribute to your team's success, so you prove your capability, then hours in front of the computer start to feel more purposeful. Intention brings meaning. Meaning creates inner motivation, something far stronger than any deadline or external reward. It turns boring tasks into necessary steps toward embodying your deepest values. Intention helps you move through fear. Fear is natural. We all feel it. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of change, fear of not being enough. Those fears can freeze us, keeping us locked in our comfort zones. But when you hold a strong intention, those fears begin to shrink. They're still there, but they no longer control you. You're afraid to start a business because you might fail. But if your intention is to create value, serve your community, and leave a legacy, the fear of failure is overshadowed by the desire to contribute. You think, even if I fail, I'll learn so much, and this journey will still matter, because I tried to build something meaningful. You're afraid to speak in public because you might be judged. But if your intention is to share knowledge, inspire others, and connect people, then your desire to serve begins to outweigh your fear. You think, my message is more important than my fear. A strong intention gives you a reason big enough to walk through the fear. It turns fear into a sign that you're growing, stepping out of your comfort zone, and moving toward who you truly are. It becomes the anchor that holds you steady when life feels chaotic, the fire that keeps you warm when you feel alone on the journey. My friends, discovering your intention is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing process that requires self-reflection, honesty, and a willingness to dig into what truly matters to you. Your intentions may evolve as you move through different seasons of life, but the core values underneath them often remain surprisingly stable. Take some time this week to use the 5 whys exercise on your most important desires and goals. Don't rush it. Don't try to find the perfect answer. Just be honest. Let your mind and your heart guide you together. Once you have a clear intention, you'll have a strong inner compass. Every decision, from small daily choices to major life shifts, will become clearer and more aligned. You'll know where you're going, and more importantly, why you're walking that path. With a solid intention in place, we're ready for the next stair, the stair of creation. We've planted the seeds. Now it's time to learn how to nurture them. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in Chapter 4, where we'll explore how to turn intention into concrete action. Welcome back to the 7 Stairs series. I'm Wealth Rise Stories, and I'm genuinely excited that we're stepping together onto this 4th stair. In the first 3 chapters, we dove deep into the inner world, exploring the hidden corners of our thinking, learning how to shape our vision, and beginning to take ownership of our emotional life. We've built a solid foundation for real lasting change from the inside out. But nothing in our life will actually change if we stay only in that inner world, right? Knowledge, vision, positive emotions, they're all amazing, but they're still just potential if they never get translated into concrete action. And that's exactly why this Chapter 4 is so important. Today, we're stepping into Chapter 4, the stair of action, courageous steps forward. This is where we truly step out of our comfort zone, moving from thought into action, turning the glowing ideas in our mind into something real we can see and touch in our life. I know saying it is always easier than doing it. A lot of us, including me in the past, get stuck in that endless loop called analysis paralysis. We think too much, we overplan, we overanalyze, and in the end, we don't do anything. Don't worry, this chapter is not about forcing yourself into giant, dramatic leaps. On the contrary, it's about giving you psychological tools and practical strategies to break that paralysis, starting with the smallest and bravest steps possible. 1. Introducing the Minimum Viable Action Principle, MVA. First, let's talk about a principle I absolutely love, one that completely changed the way I approach almost everything in life, the Minimum Viable Action, or MVA. You've probably heard of the Minimum Viable Product, MVP, in startups, right? It's the simplest, usable version of a product that can still be launched to the market to gather feedback. MVA works the same way, but instead of products, it applies to your actions. MVA is not about perfection. It's about getting started. It's not a giant leap. It's a tiny, almost laughably small step that you are absolutely sure you can do right now. The goal is to lower friction to the bare minimum, removing every excuse your mind might use to delay. Think about it. You want to write a book. Your MVA is not write a chapter. Your MVA is write one sentence. Yes, just one. You want to work out. Your MVA is not run a marathon or hit the gym for an hour. Your MVA is put on your workout clothes. Or even simpler, go for a 5-minute walk. You want to learn a new language. Your MVA is not finish a whole lesson. Your MVA is learn one new word. Or just open the language app. You want to clean your home. Your MVA is not deep clean the entire house. Your MVA is clear one small corner of your desk. This sounds almost silly, doesn't it? One sentence, 5 minutes, one word, one small corner. What difference could that make? The point is not the immediate result. The point is that it breaks the paralysis, creates a tiny bit of momentum, and most importantly, sends a signal to your brain. We've started. Our brain often fears big, complex goals. We feel overwhelmed, and the natural response is to procrastinate. MVA tricks the brain by presenting a task so small, so easy, that it has no reason to trigger fear or resistance. And once you start even with a tiny step, continuing becomes much easier. 2. The psychology of procrastination and how to trick your brain into starting. So why do we still procrastinate, even when we know something like MVA works? Why do we sabotage ourselves by staying stuck? This is a deep internal struggle between the rational part of us that wants a better future and the primal part of us that just wants to stay safe, comfortable, and untouched by risk. Our ancient brain, especially the amygdala, is wired to protect us from danger. To that part of the brain, anything new, any change, even a positive one, can feel like a potential threat. We procrastinate because we're afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid of discomfort, afraid of not being good enough. We tell ourselves we need more knowledge, more motivation, more time, more perfection before we can take action. But the truth is, motivation usually comes after action, not before it. The small action is what generates motivation. So how do we trick this stubborn brain and move it from anxiety into action? 1. The 5-minute rule. This is a variation of MVA. When you feel zero motivation to do something, tell yourself, I'm just going to do this for 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes I still hate it, I'll stop. The funny thing, most of the time after 5 minutes, you've already built momentum and you want to keep going. The initial discomfort has passed, and you realize it's not nearly as bad as your brain made it out to be. 2. Just start as your mantra. Don't think about the whole project. Don't think about the outcome. Only think about the first tiny step. I need to write a report. What's the very first thing? Turn on my laptop. Next, open a Word document. Next, type the title. One step at a time. Just start. 3. Lower the bar for starting. If your goal is work out every day, your brain might freak out. Lower it to walk for 10 minutes, or even put on my running shoes. The aim is to create a small, easy win so your brain realizes, oh, this isn't dangerous at all. 4. Identity shift. Instead of saying I want to exercise, say I'm a healthy person and healthy people move their bodies. Instead of I have to write, say I'm a writer, even an amateur one. And writers write every day, even if it's just one sentence. When your actions flow from the identity you're choosing, they feel more natural and less forced. I remember a time when I had to write a long script for a very important video, and I kept putting it off. I spent the whole day scrolling social media, checking email, feeling guilty. By evening, I still hadn't written a single word. Finally, I decided to apply the just one sentence rule. I opened my laptop, and after wrestling with my own resistance, I wrote one opening line, then another, and another. Before I knew it, I had written a solid chunk of the script without feeling crushed by the pressure. MVA literally saved me from total paralysis. 3. The power of compound interest applied to habits and small daily actions. Once you've learned the art of minimum viable action and you know how to trick your brain into starting, you unlock another extraordinary power, the power of compound interest. You've probably heard the classic story of two choices. One person chooses to take $1 million in cash up front. The other chooses to start with 1 penny that doubles every day for 30 days. At first, the penny sounds like a joke. But watch what happens. Day 1, 001. Day 2, 02. Day 3, 004. Day 10, about 512. Day 20, about 500 throw. Day 30, over $5.3 million. The magic of compound interest doesn't show up clearly in the beginning, sometimes not even in the middle. It works quietly, almost invisibly, until it explodes. The same principle applies perfectly to your habits and small daily actions. Reading just 10 pages a day. It doesn't sound like much, but in a year that's over 300 to 600 pages, easily more than 30 full books. That's a personal library of knowledge inside your mind. Exercise, just 15 minutes of movement a day. After a year, that's over 90 hours invested in your health, enough to noticeably change your body and energy. Learning a skill. 1 new word a day. 1 small piece of code. 1 quick sketch. Over time, you'll be amazed at how much skill you've quietly built. Saving money. Just $2 a day. After a year, that's over $700. After 10 years, that's more than $7,000, a meaningful amount to invest or use toward a bigger dream. The power isn't in intensity, it's in consistency. 1 small step a day is far better than 1 massive leap you take once and never repeat. MVA is like the first few pennies you drop into your habit bank account. Keep depositing day after day, week after week, and compound interest will handle the rest. You won't see drastic changes overnight. There will be days you feel discouraged, days when your tiny actions feel pointless. But trust me, and trust the math, small actions repeated consistently over time create extraordinary results. So the stair of action is not about heroic, dramatic moves. It's about trusting the power of small, steady, intelligent steps. It's about learning how to outsmart your own procrastination and letting the compound effect turn your tiny actions into massive outcomes. You can break the cycle of procrastination. You can start today, right now, with 1 minimum viable action. Right after you finish this video, pick 1 tiny task you've been putting off and commit to doing it for just 5 minutes. That is your first courageous step on the stair of action. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to maintain these actions and turn them into automatic habits that no longer require willpower. You don't want to miss that. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Now go take that first action today. Dear friends, I believe all of us have had those seasons where we work non-stop chasing one goal after another, head down, grinding, and grinding. Then suddenly asking ourselves why we still feel stuck, why we're still exhausted, and sometimes why we feel completely lost. We give everything we have, we sweat, we stress, we burn out. But the results don't always match the effort. Or worse, we're not even sure where we're heading anymore. That's exactly when we need the stair of reflection. Listening to the lessons, Chapter 5 of the 7 Stairs, which I want to share with you today. This chapter isn't just a reminder. It's an invitation to pause, to look back at the path you've walked, and to listen to the lessons life has been quietly whispering to you along the way. Imagine this. You're driving on a long highway at high speed. The road is straight and you just keep going, no glancing at the rear-view mirror. No noticing the mile markers you've passed. No remembering those sharp turns you barely made it through. What happens eventually? You either miss important signs and take the wrong exit, or you end up completely drained because you've been gripping the wheel for so long without ever stepping back to see the bigger picture. In the same way, in life and in work, action without reflection eventually leads to burnout and misdirection. We throw ourselves into work, into projects, into relationships, but if we never take quiet moments to look back and extract the lessons, we turn into machines that only know how to run, not why we're running or where we're running to. We repeat the same mistakes. We miss golden opportunities for growth. And worst of all, we never truly grow up from our own experiences. So how do we break out of that cycle? How do we make our actions more meaningful, more effective, and more aligned with our growth? The answer lies in one-word reflection. 1. Turning failure into feedback, changing the question. When failure knocks on the door, what are the first questions we usually ask? Why did I fail? Why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? These questions, I want to tell you, are a subtle trap of the mind. They pull us into a spiral of blame, guilt, and frustration, and they rob us of the golden opportunity to learn. When we focus on why did I fail, we tend to look for someone or something to blame, ourselves, our circumstances, or other people. That doesn't help us move forward. Instead of asking, why did I fail? Let's try shifting to a much more powerful question. What did this experience teach me? Feel the difference. The second question shifts the focus from digging for pain and blame to uncovering value and insight. It turns failure from a dead end into a comma, a pause that helps you see the road ahead more clearly. Failure stops being proof that you're not good enough and becomes precious feedback that helps you adjust your strategy, change your approach, and grow stronger. I remember launching an online course once. I spent months building it, poured my heart, time, and energy into it. I expected it to do really well, but it didn't. Sales were low, sign-ups were disappointing. At first, I was crushed. I kept asking myself, why did I fail? What did I do wrong? It felt heavy. But then I forced myself to stop. I shut my laptop, sat down, and asked a different question. What did this course teach me? And slowly the answers started to appear. I focused too much on the content and not enough on understanding the market. I didn't listen deeply enough to what my target audience actually needed. My marketing didn't really connect with people emotionally. Maybe I need to build a smaller, more engaged community first to earn trust before selling anything big. That simple shift from why did I fail to what did this teach me kept me from drowning in regret. Instead, I walked away with a clear, practical list of what to improve next time. It stopped being just a failure and became a valuable lesson, one no school could have given me. It was feedback from life itself. 2. Introducing the practice of reflective journaling. Daily, weekly. So how do we practice reflection effectively? How do we turn learning from experiences into a real habit? The simplest and most powerful tool is reflective journaling. You don't need to be a great writer. You don't need fancy words. What you need is honesty and a few quiet minutes. Try this. At the end of each day or at the end of each week, set aside 5 to 10 minutes to write. You can write in a notebook on your phone or in a document. What matters is that you get your thoughts out of your head and onto the page. Here are some prompts to help you. For things that went well, successes, bright spots. What went well today? This week. Why did it go well? What did I do that contributed to this positive result? Which actions of mine helped make this happen? How can I repeat this in the future? What is the lesson I can take from this success? How did I feel when this happened? What does that say about what matters to me? For things that didn't go as planned, challenges, failures. What didn't go the way I wanted? What went off track? What did this experience teach me? What is the biggest lesson I can extract from it? What could I do differently next time to get a better result? What external factors influenced this? Which of those can I actually control? How did I feel while going through this? How did I react? Reflective journaling helps you reorganize your thoughts, turning messy experiences into clear lessons. It's like rewinding a movie, but this time, instead of just rewatching it, you're analyzing each scene, extracting meaning, and understanding the storyline at a deeper level. At first, it might feel a little awkward. That's normal. But if you stick with it even just a few lines each night, you'll be surprised by what you start to discover about yourself, how you operate, what patterns you repeat, and what life has been trying to show you all along. 3. Wisdom doesn't come from experience. It comes from reflecting on experience. This is one of the most powerful truths I've ever learned. People often say, just do it, you'll gain experience. That's true, but not the whole truth. You can have 10 or 20 years of experience in a field. But if you never pause to reflect on those experiences, you might just be repeating the same 1 year of experience over and over again. Wisdom doesn't come from experience alone. It comes from reflecting on that experience. Picture your experiences as a massive library. Each book on the shelf is something you've gone through, a project, a relationship, a failure, a win, a conversation, a risk you took. If you walk into the library, touch the books, admire the covers, but never open them, never read them, never think about what's inside, you'll never really understand what they hold. Reflection is what opens those books. It's what turns scattered moments into a coherent story. It helps you connect events, see patterns, understand root causes, and anticipate consequences. It deepens your understanding, not just of the world, but of yourself. When you take time to reflect it, you're not only learning from your past, you're equipping yourself to meet the future with greater wisdom. You become more adaptable, more resilient, and most importantly, more self-aware. You know who you are. You know what you want. And you start to see how to get there in a sustainable, grounded way. So why is the stair of reflection so important? Because it's the foundation of all genuine growth. Without reflection, you can run faster and faster, but never truly move forward. You burn out from working hard without a clear sense of direction. You miss out on the priceless lessons that life is offering you through both success and failure. Reflection helps you gain clarity, see where you are, what you've done, and what needs to happen next. Make better decisions, basing your choices on real lessons rather than guesswork or impulse. Build resilience, turning setbacks into learning opportunities so you bounce back faster. Develop self-awareness. Understanding your strengths, weaknesses, values, and beliefs. Live more meaningfully, recognizing the value in every experience and every moment. So starting today, I invite you to begin your own reflection practice. Even if it's just 5 minutes each night, write down a few lines about what you went through and what you learned. Ask yourself the questions we've just explored. You'll be amazed at what you discover. And remember, this isn't a one-time exercise. It's not a finish line. It's a way of living. An art of living that helps you grow wiser, steadier, and more grounded with each passing day. In the next chapter, we'll explore the sixth stair, where the lessons from reflection are transformed into intentional, aligned action. Welcome back to the 7 stairs. 7 stairs of transformation. If in the previous chapters we were on a journey of exploring, experimenting, and building new habits, then chapter 6, titled The Stair of Integration, living as your new self, is no longer about doing something. It's truly about becoming. This is the moment when the seeds you've planted, the branches you've carefully shaped, finally take deep root and grow strong, becoming an inseparable part of who you are. It sounds a bit philosophical, right? But imagine it this way. You're learning to play a musical instrument. At first, every single note requires conscious effort. Your fingers are stiff and awkward. You have to look down at the keys or strings, then back at the sheet music. Everything feels clunky and tense. But after hundreds of hours of practice, you don't have to think about each note anymore. Your fingers move on their own, the rhythm lives inside your body. The music flows naturally, authentically, and in that moment, you're no longer someone playing an instrument. You are an artist making music. That is exactly the transition we're talking about here. The shift from conscious effort to automatic behavior. It's that magical crossing point where a new habit, a new mindset, stops being a task you must complete and becomes a reflex as natural as breathing. I remember when I first tried to build the habit of reading every morning. In the beginning, it was a battle. My alarm would go off and I'd wrestle with the blanket telling myself, "Come on, just read a few pages." Many times I'd read while my mind drifted somewhere else, eyes moving across the lines, but my thoughts floating far away. It felt like forcing a river to flow uphill, but I kept at it, day after day. Slowly, something amazing started to happen. There were mornings when I woke up before the alarm, and the first thing I reached for wasn't my phone. It was the book I had left on the nightstand. The excitement of wanting to see what came next, the urge to dive back into that world began to feel completely natural. That's when I realized I was no longer trying to read more. I had become a reader. Reading wasn't a burden. It was a part of me, a joy, a ritual, a way to start my day with energy and inspiration. This process is not a simple on-off switch. It seeps in slowly, like water dripping on stone. At first, you'll still have days when you slip, days when you want to go back to your old habits. That's completely normal. Our brains by default love what's familiar, the well-worn mental paths already laid down. But when you stay consistent and create enough repetition, those new neural pathways grow stronger. They become so solid that sometimes not doing the habit actually feels stranger than doing it. And that brings us to another incredibly important part of integration. Building an environment that supports your new self. Think of a garden. You can't plant a tropical flower in the middle of an icy desert and expect it to thrive, right? Your new self is just like that. It needs the right soil, the right ecosystem to take root and flourish. That soil is your environment, the people you spend time with, the spaces where you live and work. We are social beings, and our friends influence us more than we like to admit. If you're trying to become more active and positive, but your closest friends love complaining, procrastinating, and seeing everything through a negative lens, your journey is going to feel 10 times harder. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with real friends, the ones who are also building themselves, your fellow engineers, in this journey of self-creation, people who share your values and your energy, then every step you take will be reinforced and inspired. They're the ones who will lift you up when you feel discouraged, celebrate the small wins with you, and reflect back to you the new person you're becoming. I experienced this firsthand when I decided to change my diet and lifestyle. When I started choosing healthier foods and working out regularly, Some of my old friends didn't understand. Some even joked about it. But gradually, I found new friends, and some old friends who were also ready to change. We went on hikes together, shared healthy recipes, and encouraged each other when one of us wanted to quit. That's when I felt my transformation was no longer a lonely fight. It had become a shared journey, part of a community. It's not just your friends. Your physical space matters too. Does your home reflect the new person you're becoming? Does it support your new habits? If you want to read more, make sure you have a cozy reading corner and a book always within reach. If you want to meditate, create a quiet, uncluttered spot that invites you to sit down and breathe. If you want to eat better, clear your pantry and fridge of junk food and fill them with healthier options. Over time, my home has become a kind of temple for the person I want to be. It's designed to encourage creativity, calm, and a minimalist lifestyle. My workspace is clean, organized, filled with natural light. My meditation corner is just a small mat by the window where I can look up at the sky. Everything is arranged intentionally to remind me of the values and habits I want to live by. So how do you know when a new habit has truly become part of you, when you've really integrated it into your identity? Here are a few signs. 1. It no longer requires conscious effort. You don't have to push yourself anymore. It just happens naturally, like breathing. You wake up and automatically stretch, take deep breaths, or reach for your book. 2. You feel off when you don't do it. If you miss a day of meditation, a workout, or your reading time, you feel like something is wrong, like something's missing. It's like skipping a meal your body and mind notice. 3. You're no longer debating with yourself. Before you might ask, should I do this today? Maybe I'll skip just this once. Now those questions don't even show up. The habit is your default. 4. Your natural reactions change. In situations that used to trigger you, your response is different. If you used to get angry quickly now, you find yourself calmer. If you used to procrastinate now, you're more likely to take initiative. 5. Other people notice. This is one of the strongest signs. When friends, family, or co-workers start saying things like, "You seem so much more energized lately," or "You've become so much more patient," that's powerful evidence that integration has happened. 6. You find joy in the process. The habit is no longer a chore. It becomes a source of joy, a way of expressing who you really are. I remember realizing I had truly integrated my healthy eating habits when I was traveling. Even in unfamiliar places surrounded by fast food and convenient snacks, I naturally gravitated toward their fresh foods, vegetables, lean protein. Not because I was forcing myself, but because my body had gotten used to feeling light, clear, and energized after those meals. I didn't crave the old junk food anymore. The change wasn't just in my behavior, it was in my taste buds, in my mindset, in my identity. This stair of integration, my friends, is not the end of the journey. It's a way of living. It's the moment when you no longer feel like you're climbing a stair, but instead, you're living on that stair, turning it into a solid foundation for your life. It's the release from the constant weight of effort, and the beginning of a more natural flow of being. When you reach this stage, you realize that your new self isn't some distant, upgraded version of you. It's your true self, finally freed from the dust of bad habits and limiting beliefs. It's the person you always had the potential to become. So keep listening to your body. Keep listening to your mind. Keep shaping an environment that supports you. And most importantly, allow yourself to fully live the habits and values you've chosen. Let them become you, and let you become them. Thank you for walking this journey with me in the 7 stairs. I'll see you in the next chapter, where we'll explore the final stair, the stair of contribution and impact. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming chapters and other valuable content. See you next time. Welcome back to our journey of self-discovery and personal growth. I know that every time we wrap up a chapter, there's always this mix of satisfaction and excitement, isn't there? We've climbed 6 stairs together, from the solid foundation of self-awareness to emotional mastery skill, development, building relationships, setting meaningful goals, and stepping into self-leadership and confidence. Every stair has been a level of growth, another layer added to who we are becoming. And maybe at this point, some of you might be thinking that by the 6th stair, when we become more confident, more grounded, and more complete in many areas, that must be the finish line. That this is where we finally get to enjoy the fruits of our growth just for ourselves. I used to think that too. I used to believe that the ultimate happiness was found in polishing myself to the highest level, becoming the best version of who I could possibly be, so that I could live a full, peaceful, privately fulfilled life. But you know what? That's only half the story. And that's exactly what the 7 Stairs wants to reveal in this final level. Chapter 7. The Stair of Contribution. Beyond Yourself. Hey, think about it for a second. When we've spent years working on ourselves, shaping, refining, polishing the gem that is us, making it shine as brightly as possible, what is the real purpose of that shine? Is it so that the gem can just sit alone in a glass box, admired only by itself? Or is it meant to be placed somewhere its light can spread, illuminating and beautifying a much larger space? That question sits at the very heart of this 7th stair. The highest level of growth is not about perfecting yourself for yourself, but about using that growth to serve a purpose bigger than you, one that extends beyond your personal boundaries. In other words, true meaning and true fulfillment come from giving. Part 1. Personal happiness and contribution. The unexpected link. There's a truth I had to spend a long time learning the hard way. Personal happiness and contribution to others are not 2 separate paths. They're 2 sides of the same coin. In fact, they actually feed each other. When we only focus on, what do I want? What do I need? How can I get better over and over again? There can still be this strange emptiness, a quiet loneliness that creeps in. Because as human beings, we are wired for connection. We have a deep need to belong and a deep need to make a difference. It's like a river that only flows in circles within itself, never reaching the ocean. Can it ever really feel complete? On the other hand, when we begin to turn outward, when we look for ways to use what we've learned, who we've become, and what we've built to create value for others and for our community, something almost magical happens. You start to feel a new kind of energy, a deeper sense of meaning you may never have touched before. Psychology research has shown that acts of giving, even very small ones, activate the brain's reward centers. They release dopamine and oxytocin, the feel-good and connection chemicals that bring us joy, warmth, and a sense of closeness. That's why when you help someone, when your actions bring a genuine smile to someone's face, you feel this gentle warmth spreading in your chest. It's not a painful sacrifice. It's a kind of fullness. For me personally, when I started this YouTube channel, my initial goal was simply to share what I had learned, things I found helpful and meaningful. I never imagined that this act of sharing would give so much back to me. Your messages telling me that a video helped you get through a tough time, shifted your perspective, or inspired you to take action, those messages are some of the most powerful fuel I've ever experienced. It's a positive feedback loop. I give knowledge, I receive happiness and purpose. And that happiness pushes me to keep giving more. Part 2. Contribution isn't always grand. Simple ways to give. When we hear words like contribution or serving the community, a lot of people immediately picture huge efforts, massive charity projects, global initiatives, or heroic acts. But it doesn't have to be that way. Contribution can begin with the smallest, most ordinary acts in our daily lives. What matters most is the intention and the heart you bring to it. So how do we start contributing? 1. Share your knowledge and experience. Do you have a particular skill? Deep knowledge in a specific area? Share it. That might look like mentoring a new colleague, guiding a younger person writing blog posts, creating videos like I'm doing right now, or simply having a thoughtful, honest conversation with someone who is seeking advice. Sharing doesn't just help the other person, it helps you too. It strengthens your understanding, gives you new perspectives, and deepens your sense of purpose. It's one of the most beautiful forms of giving where both sides grow. 2. Listen to others with your whole heart. This is a form of contribution many people overlook, but it's incredibly powerful. In a noisy world, truly listening to someone without judging, without interrupting, without rushing to fix them, but simply being there to understand them, is a priceless gift. It helps the other person feel seen, heard, and validated. It can ease their emotional burden in ways you might never fully realize. Sometimes what a person needs most isn't advice. It's just a pair of ears and a heart that cares. Think back to the earlier stairs where we talked about relationships and empathy. This is where you bring those into real life. 3. Volunteer your time and energy. This is the classic form of contribution and still one of the most impactful. You can volunteer at local shelters, support the elderly, help clean up your neighborhood, assist at community centers, mentor kids, or join fundraisers for meaningful causes. You don't need a lot of money or tons of free time. Even a few hours a month can make a real difference. What matters is putting yourself in a position of giving. 4. Small acts of kindness in everyday life. Hold the door open for someone. Give up your seat on the bus. Take in a package for a neighbor. Send a sincere, encouraging message. Offer a genuine compliment. Smile warmly at a stranger. These tiny actions, multiplied by millions of people, create a huge wave of positivity. It's like planting little seeds of kindness in the world, and you never really know how beautifully they might bloom. Remember, contribution doesn't mean draining yourself dry. It's not about sacrificing your well-being. It's about using your resources, energy, and growth wisely in a way that enriches both your life and the world around you. It's the balance between taking care of yourself, the first 6 stairs, and taking care of the world, the 7th stair. Part 3. Completing the journey. Using your light to guide others. And here we are at the final point of our 7-stair journey. You've seen now that each stair has been a stepping stone, a necessary piece in the larger picture of human development. We started by looking inward, understanding ourselves. We built inner strength, developed skills, and learned how to interact more effectively with the world. We set goals and pursued them with perseverance. We became stronger, wiser, and more self-directed versions of ourselves. But this journey only truly completes, only reaches its deepest level of meaning and fulfillment when we use the light we've cultivated to help guide others. When we refuse to keep that flame just for ourselves, and instead use it to light more candles, to warm other hearts, to illuminate paths that are still dark for someone else. Imagine you are a lighthouse. You've endured storms, wind, and waves to stand where you are shining brightly and steadily. That light is not meant for you to admire in isolation. It exists to guide ships lost at sea, to give hope, to offer safety. That is the essence of the stair of contribution. Once we've grown to a certain point, we carry an unspoken responsibility to use that growth to make the world even slightly better. We are not just isolated individuals. We are threads in a much larger web. Every act of giving strengthens those threads and pulls us all closer together. So yes, the journey of the 7 stairs isn't just a story about self-perfection. It's about who we become for others. It's the journey from thinking only in terms of me to understanding the power and beauty of us. At the end of the day, our lives are not only defined by what we've achieved for ourselves, but by what we've left behind, by the seeds of kindness we've planted, by the smiles we've created, by the lives we've touched. So I want to leave you with both a challenge and a heartfelt invitation. Keep growing, keep learning, keep climbing in your own development. But at the same time, always ask, with what I have, with who I've become, what value can I bring to this world? How can I use my light to brighten the lives of the people around me. Never forget, your flame does not get weaker when you use it to light another candle. If anything, it makes the whole room warmer and brighter. And that is the true beauty of the stair of contribution. That is where our journey finds its deepest, most complete fulfillment. Thank you for walking with me through the 7 stairs. Let your light spread. I'll see you in the next chapter where we'll start bringing these principles into real-life practice in an even deeper way. Take care and see you soon. Hey, so are you ready to not just understand what we've talked about in the previous parts, but actually live it? We've gone through concepts that might feel a bit abstract, those early stairs in thinking and awareness. But now, it's time to make it concrete, to turn knowledge into action, into real-life experience, starting this coming week. This is not some empty theoretical exercise. This is a 7-day action plan for you to build your very first stair with your own hands, the stair of change and progress. You know, a lot of times we read a great book or watch an inspiring video, we feel amazing. We feel like we've got it, like so many things suddenly make sense. But then everyday life sweeps us away again, and those powerful ideas just hover somewhere in the back of our mind, never really turning into reality. This video, this section, exists to break that loop. What's our goal? To turn your upcoming week into your own personal lab, where you experiment, experience, and witness small but powerful shifts happening. Treat this like a little 1-week adventure. You don't need to take a giant leap. Just one small step each day. And trust me, the power of small steps done consistently and intentionally is huge. It's like laying the very first bricks of your dream house. You can't build the whole house in one day, but you can lay the first brick. Are you ready? Let's walk through each day of this 7-day action plan, building your first stair together. Day 1 and 2. Practice awareness and acceptance through journaling. We start with the foundation of all change: awareness and acceptance. I know it might sound philosophical, but in reality it's very practical. Awareness here is your ability to observe yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your reactions without judgment. It's like you're watching a documentary about your own life. You see it play out, you notice it, but you don't interfere, don't add or subtract anything. And what is acceptance? It's allowing whatever is happening inside you to be there. Accepting that you're feeling uncomfortable or anxious or really happy. Not trying to push it away, not trying to twist it into something else. It is what it is. And the best tool to practice these 2 things in our first 2 days is journaling. Sounds simple, right? But this isn't about writing pretty flowery sentences or doing a daily recap like, "Today, I ate this, went there." It's a form of intentional journaling, a sincere conversation with yourself. What do you do on day 1 and day 2? Each day, set aside 15 to 20 minutes. It could be early in the morning before the world gets loud, or at night before bed when everything is settled down. Open a notebook or a notes app and start writing. Your grammar doesn't matter. It doesn't have to sound good. Just put down whatever is in your head. How are you really feeling right now? Is there anything making you worried or excited? How did a particular event today impact you? What was your first reaction? Are you resisting any emotion? Are you judging yourself or someone else? Write freely. Don't try to polish it. The goal is not to create literature. The goal is to observe the flow of your own mind. To see recurring thoughts, suppressed emotions, and tiny joys you've overlooked. From my own experience, there have been many times I thought I was fine. But once I started writing, I realized I was quietly holding on to irritation about some small thing. I assumed I'd already forgotten. Putting it on paper helped me see it. And once I could see it, I could choose to accept it instead of letting it quietly burn inside. This is the first step to you owning your inner world instead of being controlled by it. Be patient with yourself. You might feel a bit awkward on the first day, but keep going. These first 2 days are for you to get acquainted with yourself on a deeper level than ever before. Day 3. Spend 30 minutes defining your most important intention for the next month. After 2 days of looking inward, now it's time to look ahead. On day 3, you'll spend 30 minutes defining your most important intention for the coming month. Note, this is not just a regular goal like I have to finish XYZ. This is an intention. A deeper guiding why behind your actions, something that, when you think about it, actually wakes up a sense of energy inside you. It has to be something truly meaningful to you, something you want to see yourself achieve or become in the next 30 days. What do you do on day 3? Find a quiet place, grab a pen and paper, or open your laptop. Set a 30-minute timer. 1. Brainstorming 10 minutes. Write down everything you want to achieve, improve, or experience in the coming month. Don't limit yourself. Just get it all out, from the smallest things to the biggest. It could be learning a new skill, improving a relationship, finishing a personal project, taking better care of your health, finding more inner peace. 2. Filter and prioritize 10 minutes. Once you have your list, look at each item and ask, is this really important to me right now? Does it connect to any of my core values? Start grouping similar ideas and crossing out the ones that don't really call you. 3. Choose one intention, 10 minutes. From the refined list, choose one single intention that matters most, the one that makes you feel the most excited when you imagine making it real in the next month. For example, instead of lose weight, your intention might be nurture a healthy, energized body. Instead of make more money, your intention might be create meaningful value that increases my income and financial freedom. Instead of finish the report, your intention might be deliver a high-quality piece of work that truly benefits my team. Write this intention clearly, specifically, and in positive language. Put it somewhere you'll see often. This will be your guiding star. Having a clear intention helps you focus your energy and avoid being scattered by 1,000 little distractions. This is the stair of direction. Day 4, 5, and 6. Choose one minimum action and do it every day. Then spend 5 minutes reflecting at night. These are your true action days. You've built awareness, you've set an intention. Now it's time to make it real, little by little. What do you do on day 4, 5, and 6? 1. Define your minimum action. Go back to the intention you set on day 3. Now ask yourself, what is the smallest non-negotiable action I can take every day to move closer to that intention? The power of the minimum action is that it's so small, your brain has no good reason to resist it. It tricks that lazy, hesitant part of you. If your intention is write a book, your minimum action could be write 1 sentence a day. Seriously, just 1 sentence. If your intention is run a marathon, your minimum action could be walk for 5 minutes. If your intention is learn English, your minimum action could be learn 1 new word. If your intention is declutter the house, your minimum action could be put away or throw away 1 item. Choose something very small and very specific that you are sure you can do, no matter how busy or tired you are. 2. Do it every day. For these 3 days, day 4, 5, 6, commit to doing your minimum action. Even if you feel like doing more, honor your original commitment. Don't turn it into a burden. The goal is to build consistency and collect small wins. 3. Reflect for 5 minutes at night. After you've done your action for the day, at the end of the day, spend 5 minutes reflecting on it. What did you do? How did you feel while doing it? Did you run into any resistance? If yes, what kind? What did you learn from this small action? Do you want to adjust anything for tomorrow? This part is extremely important. It helps you connect action with results, notice progress, and make adjustments if needed. It turns behavior into a learning process. I remember when I wanted to exercise more consistently. My goal was go to the gym 3 times a week. Sounds fine, but I kept putting it off. Then I switched to a minimum action do 1 push-up every morning. Believe it or not, on most days, I didn't stop at 1, I did 5, 10, sometimes 20. But even on the days I only did 1 push-up, I still counted it. The key was that I had broken through the starting barrier, and reflecting each day helped me realize that the real resistance wasn't the workout itself, it was the act of starting. These 3 days will help you build momentum and strengthen your belief in your own ability to follow through. Day 7, reflect on how you can offer a small bit of value to someone around you. You've spent the whole week looking inward, setting an intention, and taking action toward it. Now, on the final day of this 7-day plan, we're going to widen the lens and look outward. Day 7 is about contribution, not in the form of huge heroic gestures, but through small, sincere acts that bring value to someone in your world. What do you do on day 7? Spend some time reflecting, then act. Reflect 10 minutes. Is there someone in your life, family, friends, co-workers, neighbors, who might need a bit of help, a word of encouragement, or some small value that you can easily offer? Can you truly listen to someone today more deeply than usual? Can you share a piece of knowledge or a simple tip, is there a compliment or a thank you you've never said out loud? Is there a small task you can quietly handle for someone before they even ask? Act whenever the opportunity shows up. Call a friend just to check in. Help a coworker with a small task. Acknowledge your kids' or your partner's effort. Thank the delivery driver or barista with a genuine smile and a grateful tone. Spend some quality phone-free time really listening to someone's story. Giving value to others, even in tiny ways, has incredible power to shift your mood and perspective. It helps you step out of your own mental loop, reconnect with community, and realize that you do have the ability to positively impact the world around you. It not only brings joy to the person receiving it, but also becomes a powerful energy source for you. This is the stair of connection and meaning. And just like that, you've completed a week of first steps. These 7 days are not designed for you to achieve everything, but for you to begin. For you to feel the power of awareness, of intention, of steady action, and of contribution. You've built your first stair with your own hands. Remember, every great journey begins with small steps. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Celebrate every little win. Honor the process, not just the outcome. Your upcoming week will be different because now you have a plan. And more importantly, you've already started taking action. Let this next week be the week you turn ideas into experience and words into action. Step forward with confidence. I truly believe you can do this. And we've come quite a long way together, haven't we? A full 125 minutes of listening, reflecting, and walking through the transformational staircase that the 7 stairs has laid out before us. I know sometimes the amount of information can feel a bit overwhelming. But don't worry. This is exactly the moment where we distill everything down to its essence. What's the purpose of this section? It's to make sure that you don't just hear the message, but you remember it and carry the most important insights of the 7 stairs into your everyday life. I want you to walk away from this video with 3 universal keys, 3 core principles that no matter what happens, you will never forget. These are your compass, your guiding lights on your personal journey of transformation. Let's summarize the 3 essential takeaways from this powerful book. Ready? Let's begin. 1. Real transformation is an inside-out journey. It begins with awareness and ends with contribution. The first key, and the one I hope you tattoo into your mind, is this: real change is not about altering what you do on the outside. It's about changing who you are on the inside. Think about it. We often try to change habits, change jobs, change environments, and we assume that's transformation. But very quickly, we drift back into the same patterns and the same version of ourselves. Why? Because we skip the root of all change, the inner world. Everything starts with awareness. Imagine walking into a dark room and suddenly someone lights a small candle. Even that faint glow is enough for you to begin seeing what's around, seeing the dust, the clutter, the reflection of yourself in the mirror, maybe even the beauty you've never noticed. Awareness means seeing yourself, your fears, your limits, your dreams, your values, the things you may have ignored or never had the courage to face. It's asking yourself the tough questions. What do I really want? What values am I actually living by? What's been holding me back? Without awareness, every attempt to change is just cosmetic, like repainting a house without fixing the cracked foundation underneath. And once awareness awakens, once you start sharpening yourself, breaking past your old limits, climbing each stair of growth, the end goal isn't becoming better just for yourself. It's to contribute. Contribution doesn't need to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as becoming a better version of yourself, so you can inspire others, share what you've learned, spread good energy, and help someone else find their own candle in the dark. This is the part that many people forget. We're so focused on personal gain when we talk about self-development. But the 7 stairs reminds us that complete transformation makes you someone who wants to give, chooses to give, and is capable of giving. Like a tree, it must first develop strong roots and a healthy trunk before it can offer shade blossoms and fruit. So ask yourself, am I changing for what? Or am I only changing what? Remember, this real transformation is an inside-out journey from awareness to contribution. 2. Action and reflection are the 2 oars of the boat of transformation. Without one, you only row in circles. The second takeaway, deeply practical and instantly applicable, is this: action and reflection are the 2 oars that move your boat forward. Miss one, and you'll be spinning in place. Imagine sitting in a small rowboat on the ocean of life. To move forward, you need both oars. Action is the first oar. It's you stepping forward, experimenting, making mistakes, standing up again, and pressing on. It's every step you take outside your comfort zone. Without action, your boat stays still no matter how clear your vision is. You'll forever be a great thinker, but never a results creator. But what happens if you only row with the action oar? You start spinning, working harder and harder, burning out yet going nowhere, meaningful. You become a machine, not a human growing with purpose. That's where the second oar comes in: reflection. Reflection is when you pause to ask, what happened? What did I learn? What worked? What didn't? How can I do it better next time? Reflection realigns your compass, recalibrates your direction. Without it, you repeat the same mistakes, chase the same dead ends, and sabotage your own progress simply because you never stop to understand why. I've been on both ends. There were times when I worked like a robot, only to end the day exhausted and confused because nothing actually improved. That was a lack of reflection. And there were also times when I overthought everything, analyzing plans, scenarios, possibilities so much that I never actually began. That was a lack of action. I learned that these 2 oars don't just need to exist, they need to work together. When you act and then reflect, you grow faster, deeper, and more sustainably. So remember the golden equation: action plus reflection. True transformation. Never row with just 1 oar. 3. The ultimate goal isn't reaching the top, but learning to climb with awareness and joy, 1 stair at a time. And finally, the 3rd takeaway, one that will reshape how you see success goals and even life's purpose itself. The ultimate goal isn't reaching the top of the 7 stairs or any peak society tells you to chase. The real goal is learning to climb with awareness and to enjoy every single stair. We live in a world obsessed with achievement, with winning, with reaching the summit. We're taught to chase big goals relentlessly. But what happens when you reach the top? A brief spark of satisfaction, a moment of pride quickly followed by the urge to find a new mountain. The 7 stairs wants us to see differently. The peak is just a checkpoint. The real growth, the real joy, lies in the journey itself. Climbing with awareness means being present in each step, feeling the stretch of your muscles, noticing the wind, the rain, the sunlight. Understanding why you're taking the step. Connecting deeply with your inner intention. It means you're not rushing blindly toward a distant finish line. You're alive in every moment of the journey. And enjoying each stair doesn't mean everything must be easy or pleasant. It means finding meaning even in challenges, appreciating the lessons from stumbles, honoring the pauses, celebrating every inch of progress. Think of a long hike. The summit may be beautiful, but the moments you remember most are the ones along the way: a sudden rain shower, a breathtaking view halfway up, a deep conversation with your hiking partner, the thrill of conquering a steep slope, a warm cup of soup at a trail stop. Those moments shape you. Those moments are life. And this mindset is what prevents burnout. When you only stare at the top, the road feels impossible. But when you savor the journey, each step becomes a victory, a reason to keep going. So live for the journey, not just the destination. Each stair is an experience, a lesson. Don't miss it. And there you have them. And the 3 core messages and the 3 universal keys I want you to take away from the 7 stairs. 1. Real transformation is an inside-out journey from awareness to contribution. 2. Action and reflection are the 2 oars of transformation. Miss one and you row in circles. 3. The goal isn't reaching the top, it's learning to climb consciously and enjoy each stair. Hold on to them, reflect on them, and most importantly, apply them in your own life. These lessons aren't just theory. They're a roadmap for building a meaningful, fulfilled, joy-filled life. I hope that with these 3 keys, you now have a stronger compass to guide your personal transformation. Thank you for spending your precious time listening and walking with me through this video. And if you found these messages valuable, don't hesitate to share them with the people you care about. So we've climbed through every stair of the 7 stairs together. A journey that didn't just stop at the pages, did it? It opened up an entire inner universe, new doors, new questions, new awakenings inside each of us. At least for me, that's what it felt like. Every stair we stepped on, even if only in our minds, carried its own meaning, its own lesson, its own quiet invitation. And if you found even a spark of value, a small insight, or a new idea in the conversation we shared today, then don't hesitate to show your support. A simple like isn't just a number. It's a confirmation that we're heading in the right direction, that the content we're creating is meaningful to you, that it resonates with your inner world. It's a powerful motivation for me to keep investing the time and the heart required to bring you even deeper reflections from the books and the life philosophies I believe can truly serve our community. And if you don't want to miss any of our future adventures together, don't forget to hit subscribe along with that little bell icon. Because trust me, there are so many books, so many ideas, and so many more stairs waiting for us to climb together. Our community is growing every day, and every new member is an important piece, bringing unique perspectives and personal stories that make our shared journey richer and more alive. But more importantly, I want to know this after everything we've shared. Which stair is calling out to you the loudest right now? Take a moment, close your eyes if you want, or just let your mind soften and wander. Is it the stair of stillness calling to you as you long for peace in the middle of life's noise? Is it the stair of truth, nudging you to face the shadows within yourself, to acknowledge who you really are, even when that honesty is uncomfortable? Or maybe it's the stair of compassion, inviting you to widen your heart, not only toward loved ones, but toward the world around you, to understand and to give more. Or is it the stair of forgiveness urging you to finally loosen the weight of the past, not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself? Perhaps it's the stair of creativity, that voice inside, pushing you to create something new, to put your own imprint on this life. Or maybe it's the stair of contribution, where you realize that true happiness lies in giving in, living a life with a purpose, larger than just yourself. Or maybe at this moment it's the stair of love, a love so wide and unbounded it connects you with everything around you. Whichever stair it is, don't hesitate to share your story, your thoughts, in the comments below. Think of this as a safe space, a resting stop where we can listen to each other, learn from each other, and grow together. Every story you share is more than just a comment. It may be a source of inspiration for someone else who is also on their own path. Sometimes, a single line from you may be the key, the spark someone needs to take their next step. And if you feel that this conversation, these reflections on the 7 stairs, might resonate with someone, someone searching for themselves, someone who needs encouragement, or a spark of guidance, or simply a new perspective on life, then take a moment to share this video with them. You never know, one timely idea, one sentence can change an entire life. You might be the one bringing that spark to them. Our video ends here. But I truly believe your personal journey of discovering and conquering your own 7 stairs is only just beginning. Remember, every step you take, no matter how small, matters. Each one is a vital part of the path toward the best version of yourself. Don't fear the challenges. Don't shy away from the bends in the road, because those are the very things that shape you. Whenever you feel lost, return to these stairs and listen for the one that's calling your name. The world is waiting for you with all the potential and beauty you're carrying within. Step forward boldly. Live every moment fully. Thank you for walking with me throughout this entire video. I'm your name, your channel name, and I can't wait to see you again in our next intellectual adventure. Until then, live deeply, love fully, and never stop climbing toward the higher stairs of your life. See you soon.